Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you, wherever you are, whatever time it is when you listen to this. Welcome to my channel. Alright, so I'm about to do this reading, and I did hear on the energetic level a request to do the life path readings. I take it you all like those. That works. I don't have a problem with doing those again. Um, And with that being said, to accommodate so I don't have to uh, ask or not ask, so I don't have to be annoyed with the download, so to speak. um, I'll see if I can incorporate it in my readings once a month. Okay. Now you have to give me time with me saying that. You have to give me time to incorporate it every month. Okay. It might be a month I forget. Yeah, don't 111 when I say that, because I am having a human experience, y'all, just like everybody else. Okay, so not all readings are gonna resonate with everyone. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. That simply means that this reading isn't for you. Some of the things it is that we are feeling going on in the atmosphere definitely is Mercury retrograde, right? And it's supposed to be conjunct Venus in like the next day or so. And we just had that waning moon. Then let me see what else. Well, no, it wouldn't be a waning moon. It'll be a waxing moon because we just had the new moon, so it'll be a waxing moon leading up to a full moon. Then that's and I think we got that additional tiny satellite in our atmosphere right now, where it's an additional pull on the emotions outside of the regular pull with the moon essence. That's why we getting that Piscean feeling. It just dawned on me. That would be why we were getting that Piscean feeling. Because, or depending on what vibration, possibly even Scorpio feeling. In addition to the Cancerian essence, because it's a lot of emotional pull that will be going on whenever we have that additional little fragment of moon or of another moon, like satellite, right? In short, astrological satellite that'll be in our atmosphere. So just paying that some attention. The other portion of it, um, what else was I gonna say? Oh, we do still have the Parade of the Planets. The Parade of the Planets is gonna be going on for, I want to say, maybe about another 4 or 5 years. I'm gonna look it up though. So just being mindful of that. And we are in an amazingly cosmic time, because with the reason for everything shifting and changing and there being such a cry and a call out in our souls and in our awakenings, is because we are shifting from the Piscean era, uh, where film, fashion, psychic nature, all of those different things, and that interconnectivity that goes on between Neptune and Jupiter and Uranus is truly being awakened in those who allow it to be, right? And in the Piscean era, right, we have to clear out a whole bunch of stuff for real, that would have come into place. From, I'm hearing the 1200s. Okay, so ultimately, because we don't have a lot of records of what it was that would have taken place during like the 1200s, I think like we go from like 5 AD, 5 or 6 AD. Don't quote me on it, but it's like this huge, like 2 to 4 or 500 year time gap, right? During the Dark Ages and when there was a lot of torture and things of that nature, right? So I'm thinking this is about a past life situation. Pay attention to what would have been going on. You'll get inclinations about what would have happened with you in that particular past life, because you'll repeat those cycles in your current life. Okay? So just being mindful of that. Trying to think. Is it anything else? Is it anything else? For instance, yeah, I'll give a. For instance, if you were, if you had, I use the Jesus analogy. Yeah, okay. So realistically, a lot of people may feel like they have a Jesus essence, right? That comes into place with them. Well, you have to remember, right, that there was that was a common practice to be hung on a cross in front of everybody, like public displays and humiliation and all of that was something that was really big and prevalent. So being mindful of that portion of history, because the human experience, realistically, when you review it through history and even through her stories, right, you'll see that it was brutal. Oh my goodness, I remember studying that stuff. I had to study it because I was starting to see some other visions, right? Visions, premonitions, all this. Well, realistically, that would constitute is visions, realistically, because of the amount of problems it was that and the brutal nature and punishment because that was the entertainment of the time. 644 when I said this. So the organization of one's health and the master healers, right? That was the entertainment of the time, right? To be brutal and punish people. 655 when I said it again. So in short, how the organization and realistically young people, right, that Virgo essence would need to shift. We're also entering into the Virgo Pisces era, right? Now, Pisces, you would have been doing really, really good in the Piscean era because the essence favored you. You might be having a little bit more difficulty now because the technicality portion really does count. Now, this in that regard would be where both Libra and Aries would realistically shine because it's the technically, right? We're moving from that mindset of, oh, I believe it, I can achieve it, I see it, that visualization aspect, right? Versus um if it's really happening or not. And it'll tell you about what your particular visualization aspect is. Okay? All right. So, like I said, of course, not all readings are going to resonate with everyone. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. That is okay. That simply means that this reading isn't for you. If it don't fit, don't force it. Just relax and let it go. Just 'cause that's how you want it doesn't mean it will be so. If it don't fit, don't force it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so there's that portion. So yeah, let's kick into this reading. Uh, Make sure you're taking notes. Please make sure you take notes on what it is you would need to. Some of the things will manifest as if I see it, of course I'll call it out. But some of the things may manifest as objects in your space. And please be mindful with me when Uranus comes up. Uranus and Venus, when those two come up, those are the two signs, the two planets. My apologies, that I associate with love because they're both on the same rotation, basically. Same rotation, and they're closer to each other. They're not so far away, and it's rebellious in the Aquarian essence to have love, whether it be romantic or to do right in business, do correct in business. Okay? All right. So let's see what we got going on. Oh, okay. Toil and labor, work. All right. Main females, gift in dating. One with great fortune and a house of unexpected income and imprisonment. short, it'll be about being locked in, what it is to be locked in. Locked in and lock ins. Some of this gonna come into place with if you, regardless of where you are, right? But the lock in aspect will be about Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, right? The Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn shift in axes. Not Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn shift in axes, but the Virgo, Pisces axis. It will give a boost to Taurus and Capricorn because it's an earth sign, right? So paying that some attention. The other portion of it is with Pisces being at the what constitutes villain era, right? Yeah, because now we're in a hero slash villain era again, and it'll be in short the things it is that you would have done wrong, and I'm hearing taken out of context. Part of it will be about the whole taken out of context. It's kind of what I'm getting from it. Okay, yep, and it was 11:11 when I said that. I don't know if you guys can hear the confirmation in the background, right? But main female's gift of courtship and dating, one with great fortune, and there being a house as unexpected income to lock it in. A house, apartment, space, place, right? Some of the other stuff that I'm really getting from this is going to be about the feeling signs. The review that comes into place with the feeling signs of things, all right? And when it comes to the whole main female, yeah, it's giving for real, y'all, a lot of what will constitute as some of it'll be about mother wounds. And mother wounds don't only associate with your actual birth mother. It'll be about the way that you interact with people, with the feminine essence. Okay? So, endings, coffin. Some of this is going to be about initiation, gift. But then one not being married. On the alchemical aspect, it'll be about marriage, the gift that comes with marriage. I turn these in the upright and the overall essence of lovers. Now, because some of the other portion of this is going to be about, in the political aspect, it's going to be about what it is that was going on in the house and how it is they would try to control a woman's body. And that directly goes against what constitutes, I want to say it's the 14th Amendment. Yeah, taking away Roe v. Wade and abortion and things of that nature, that contradicts the property statements and things of that nature that would in the I'm very bipartisan, right? But in the bylaws that go into place with the, I want to say it's like the 13th and 14th Amendment, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. Okay, so and then this despair, one not being married. Oh goodness, one not being married for full time. And there being despair because one wouldn't have married, the gift that comes with one not being married. Committed and there being a part of a family. What it is to be a part of a family or a group of lovers, basically, is what that's boiling down to. Group of lovers, group of Geminis. Oh, you know what this is about, y'all. If you took good notes and meaning even paid attention to what it is that would have gone on during the Gemini Sagittarius axis. That's what this is going to be about, because during the Gemini Sagittarius axis, Sagittarius was in its villain era. And just because it's saying the villain era doesn't mean that you have to act like a villain, right? Doesn't mean you have to be the bad guy. You might get, because you'll be amazed at in today's time what constitutes as a bad guy. and what it is that constitutes as reciprocation. Okay? So, just being mindful of those different things too. Okay? With this whole lovers aspect. Some of the other things, right? Yeah, how transformation being the gift, for one not being married or in despair in regards to one being family. Now, because some of this is going to be about the inheritances in a will. It'll be about the inheritances that would have come into place with being in a will with a person not being married. Okay, I got the star cards out. And how death would be a gift or transformation transitioning would be a gift. But on this other portion, the income and commitment being, yeah, being sad because of the family. Family wrong. How one's gifts would be saddening. Yeah, some of the other stuff would be marrying outside of the family. Oh. Okay, yeah, because we got this Princess of Wands that would be the incoming, right? So it'll be about incoming good news, right? And how good news for one person is bad news for another in the family room, right? Yeah, the bad news that comes into place with being family. And then it'll be Ace of Swords in reverse, how some things will be unclear in the cosmic aspect, right? Because these are this the David Bowie big y'all, the star season, whether this is celebrities, whatever, what have you. But how one marrying outside of the quote unquote family, right? Uh, and how certain things would be unclear in regards to the disappointment of one's happiness and there being an opportunity, an offer presented over the course of a year, and then there being the third party situations, celebrations. This could be about the business portions, third party situations, business, uh, mother maiden crown, and then being a prince of wands, the upholding of boundaries that come with one being off of one's mind. How you keep the boundaries together. I'm hearing leaps and bounds. Some of this is even upward bound. Yeah, it's giving a Buzz Lightyear onward and upward type situation, right? Yeah, because even with Buzz Lightyear, it's a lot to kind of go into this. Yeah, because Buzz Lightyear, the toy, thought that he was really the actual Buzz Lightyear, right? And sure, if you think it, that's who you are, that's what you be, right? Okay. So, and then there will be this emotional intelligence that'll come into place, whereas there wouldn't be physical intelligence in regards to the burden. Because even in regards to this emotional intelligence, yeah, 15, this is a lot of cups though, y'all. Yeah, so I'm hearing it a long time. Yeah, It'll be a long time. A long time. 15 months. Now, if you're watching for the financial aspect, it's 15, and you tack on a few zeros to it. Okay? Uh, and whether or not one would know their worth. The testament and the celebrity starseed aspect of knowing your worth. And 3 years ago, there would have been these burdens that would have come into place. Some of the other stuff it is that would go on with this 3 years ago aspect is given. Yeah, for the business aspect, it'll be these 10 wands. Now with the business portion, right? Starseed with the business portion, uh, cups is hundred thousands, wands is hundreds. Wait, hold on. Pentacles is millions, cups is hundred thousands, wands is 10,000s, swords is thousands, right? Now you put that wherever it is you need to put it, okay, for yourself while you're watching this reading. So even in the investment aspect and what we were talking about a little bit earlier with the house and what it is to be the main female and things of that nature. Say for instance, with a woman, right? Yeah, you have to do more and pay more for a woman. And it's also giving that whole dowry situation. Like it's a lot that kind of goes into that. So, but you know where this goes to it and for yourself. And in that regard, if you know the tradition of those varying aspects and different conversations. The other thing, the bride price, yeah, because I'm hearing and how a person will return a bride price, 2233, when I said that. Now, because in short, it's giving the I paid for it aspect, and on the other part of it is one of those if that bride price gets returned, just because you paid for the bride, quote unquote, doesn't mean they have to be your bride. Yeah, because it all boils down to the free will choices aspects that come into place with it, and then how people feel like, oh, I paid for this person or I paid for that person. Right now, the contrary fact, looping back around to uh, the Jesus aspect that comes into place with it is, right? Fun fact, right? In Deuteronomical law states that if a woman is raped, she can be killed. Okay, that's the bad news that comes into place with the family. She can be stoned to death, while her father would receive 50 shillings. Okay, so just imagine how that being a part of what a person's family thought process and ideal set is, and them believing it's correct. Now, under old law, right, and that is even in accordance with the Torah, right? It's in accordance with the Torah, and it's in accordance with the Dark Ages, and it's in accordance with the Old Testament, right? All those three are linked in that regard. And even the way that concubines and all of that stuff was taken into consideration because it was believed that the offspring of a king is supposed to be, you know, magnanimous, which could be. However, when the offspring of the king is in the family, that's the bad news that comes into place with incest and things of that nature. Okay, yeah, that's the part that that would be part of an issue, right? Incoming expansions. Oh, okay, and some wisdom. It is that would go into when one would expand. Yeah, knowing how when a person would expand, things would change and how things are different during an expansion. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right, so we got the River Queen. I knew it. This is a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Hey, loves. I know you guys are probably getting the blues right now because that Piscean axis is more than likely showing you through the Saturn aspect is it doesn't matter what you feel in regards to things, but it's about what you do. Okay? And with the whole I feel, it's like, okay, great. We understand that you're a deep feeler, but what did you do with those feelings? For instance, you may feel humdrum and like you don't want to complete something, but if you know that is pertinent to completing cycles, you know that is pertinent to uh, the betterment not only of your community but of your bloodline and lineage, the wisdom in it is you have to be forward thinking in even what it is that you would feel and know how to explain it. That's one of the things that's always kind of tripped me up personally with Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio essence or with the water essence because water has memory. Water has memory. You're taking in, yeah, so real spill, you will always, ladies and gentlemen, real spill, you will always have uh, interconnectivity with those who would have passed away because the water realistically is the same, even if it's purified. If it's purified, it's better for you because you'll get more clear, accurate messages and you'll be able to clear out things better. But it's still the same thought process according to the water's memory, right? So that's getting to the biology of things. So just but flow, letting go, and natural movement, and the incoming, the wounded human ego. But with the flow and natural movement of things, one not being in their ego, but what it is to be in their, what constitutes as higher self. And in regards to the family room, incoming good news that'll go into place will be in the family room, and with one not being Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Uh, it's not. This is given like the midheaven aspect, but what it is not to be a child or a teenager in the family. In short, you want when a person wouldn't have been a child in the family. So you got cleaning house, releasing emotional baggage, emotional damage, and the power and strength. And what it is to initiate what it is all, and this goes from 14 to 24, to skip steps. What happens when you skip a step? Skip a step or take a shortcut. It's kind of what that's given. With having emotional baggage and there being power and strength. So 14 and 24, you got the frog and the dragon. Yeah, this is giving a family, the bad news that comes into place with a family having baggage. And then there being the wisdom that is associated with self sabotage, poverty consciousness, generosity, receiving, withholding, and movement. One of the things it is, I'm going to go ahead and say in regards to this, the first thing that came, it says self sabotage. Other people can sabotage you only if they see that you sabotage yourself. When they see that you sabotage, I don't think I've ever acknowledged that to present. The only way that somebody else can sabotage you is if you yourself continuously sabotage yourself. In short, they just fall into line with how you treat you. They see you sabotage. It's one of those. Okay, that's what I could do. I could sabotage you as much as I want to because I see that you'll do it to yourself as well. So it's that part. The other portion, right, that falls in the line. Yeah, because now this is a part of realistically a conversation it is that I was hearing last night, and basically the two individuals were discussing it, the baggage that comes into place with just being friends with someone. And then gentleness and diplomacy. Yeah, not having the material wealth, but there being gentleness and diplomacy within what it is that would be built in regards to this aspect of there being good news and boundaries and things of that nature, and the whole leaps and bounds and upward bound. No, because upward bound, that was a college program. 3131, and that makes so much sense for it to come in that moment because it was about the intelligence that would have been initiated and how it would have been recognized. Now here's the deal that comes into place with intelligence. There are several different types of intelligence that one can display. And yeah, rhetoric, yeah, because one of the rhetorics that'll come into place with it is uh, how people would believe because an individual is book smart that they wouldn't be street smart. And if they're street smart, they wouldn't have emotional intelligence. Not, and the portion that is problematic in that is people don't, not everyone has common sense. Just because it's called common sense don't mean it's common for everybody to have it. Just always remember that. Especially when it comes to the mystery of what's known and what's not known. And then there being the fire theory, the creative action, and optimism. In this fire theory aspect, yeah, because part of it is the effects that'll come into place with fire signs, right? Yeah, it's giving the whole "what about me? What about me?" type aspects that'll come into place with this. So the wisdom that comes into place when you're not optimistic, when a person false positives and false positivity. 3322 when I said that, in short, the higher knowing that comes into place with building. When you know that, yeah, when one would know that they shouldn't expect a positive outcome. 3333. And in short, who should expect a positive outcome? Within there being creative action and optimism and the supernatural intelligence. And even in that regard, with the supernatural, what it is that would be known in regards to the supernatural when one would be, yeah, because in that regard, it's given the whole spiritual marriages portions that come into play, spiritual marriages, and the end of the gift, the ending gift would be a divorce, being happily divorced. Now, on the spiritual aspect, being happily divorced, I heard past life issues. Yeah, because here's the deal that comes into place. When that's why in certain situations, whenever the past comes around and soulmates and karmics and all of that other good stuff, right? Whether it be for business, whether it be you used to be a part of a coven in a whole nother life. Like, I mean, yeah, you've reincarnated and some shit didn't carry on type stuff, right? 3444. So the intelligence of what it is to be protected, right? But even in those regards, yeah, because if you would have, say for instance, in a past life, been one of those, I was just thinking about one of those people who would have, if you've ever seen the Poltergeist movies, or even yeah, because you don't get certain gifts carried with you, right? So if you were an intuitive in a former life, you're more than likely going to be an intuitive in the life after, right? But if you make a promise or wage war, ultimately is what I'm getting from this, in former lives, you that could be a part of your spirit in this life, but you're supposed to learn and grow and heal from it. Part of that is the reason, yeah, because when I reviewed a lot of that, part of that was the reason why you had certain situations with people where they would be born disabled because there would have been some past life karma that they would have had to, their soul had to clear out, so their body has to go through whatever it has to go through, right? So, in regards to this, it'll be about October's Tower moment. What would have happened in October? And one not being, yeah, the willpower of movement. One not having the willpower to move. One not being able to move. Not communicating. No emails, text messages, all of that. Now, because what it boils down to is when you know that a person is real, yeah, and when you know that something is real. Not emailing, not text messaging. Yeah, no emails, text messages, uh, and 8 candles being burned. One not being abundant. Yeah, because every message ain't for everybody. It's pretty much, yeah, the unhappiness that comes in regards with that tower moment. And then one not waiting, not waiting for the waning moon. All not waiting for things that are hidden to be revealed or spoken about 4 years ago. You want to know what it was or what it is? Truth reveal spells. And how one wouldn't have constituted a person as a priestess 4 years ago. Yeah, because that'll be about the whole magic of things, right? And one revealing that they wouldn't be holding on. I just heard sometimes you just gotta learn how to let these things go. Sometimes you do just gotta learn how to let some stuff go. Okay, you really do. Even in regards to, yeah, because uh, one of the things, right? Masculine and feminine essences are warriors, whether we like it or not, and fighters. And some people have an issue with that because you have to think a woman, right? She has her cycle and all these other beautiful womanly things, but she still has to learn how to uh, persevere, whether she's having those issues with her physical body or not, right? That's just a part of what we're taught as a part of being a woman. And when you're allowed to be soft, that was a download that I had got. You really do enjoy being soft over having to be harder. And it's one of those, yeah, I don't know a woman who wouldn't enjoy being soft. Being soft and sweet and loving, and then you have people with their mother wounds, and what will be clearing out is one not being recognized um, in the immediate portion, but incoming recognition of what it is that one desires. Okay? Yeah, and how as a woman, you're frowned upon because you desire certain things. Yeah, in a financial aspect, it'll be, I said, 600. So it'll be like 600. It'll be like $600, and depending on what level you on, 600, 6,000, 60,000. Okay, so no, because you know what it boils down to, y'all. It's an old saying that older women used to utilize, right? And it's realistically to ensure that they were taken care of. Because whether people realize it or not, if you want a particular appearance, you want a particular uh, dynamic to be respected, you have to calculate how much it is that that person is actually worth, right? Yeah, because when seriously think about it, if and when you would deal with a woman that says, for instance, her self care alone, right, would be for hair, nails, feet. I'm just giving an example. Hair, nails, feet on the lowest end, right, would be $600, right? Then you have to calculate clothes, right? And we'll add another $700 for that. So right off the bat, you got $1,300. That's the actual worth of a person, regardless of how much they paid for it. That's what they're right off the bat worth. And then if there's perfumes and yeah, in short, feminine feeling is expensive. How much are you willing to? Yeah, and your feelings can pay. Yeah, it can either make you pay or you pay, make you get paid. All right, 42, 24 when I said that. Yeah, and how things will mirror at the age of 42 from what the time when you were 24. Saturn, I knew it. I knew it. Saturn, Saturday. No, because what I'm hearing is you can't treat everybody the same. You really can't treat everybody the same, especially if you know that they have or hold a particular value in your life. You can't treat everybody the same. You're not gonna. Okay, I you. It's a rap lyric, y'all. But he say you niggas treating the ones that you loving like the ones that you humping. In short, yeah, the ones that you love, you're not supposed to treat them yeah, you're not supposed to make them beg for your attention and all this other stuff, right? And have to beg you for stuff. The ones that you humping, yeah, they may not necessarily have to beg, but they have to ask. The person you love, they shouldn't even have to ask for it. They don't have to ask for it. It's automatically a given. It's like it's a calculated bill. It's like an additional bill, so to speak, that'll come into place. All right, but yeah, we got Saturn in Cancer. Not surprised. Yeah, because Saturn doesn't. The Saturn's detriment is in Cancer, and the reason why Saturn's detriment is, or Cancer has a detriment in Cancer, because what you would have nurtured about growing things, agriculture, even the planet Saturn in itself, what you would put essence and attention to, in karma, all of that, yeah, even with the I'm gonna get this back, right, one way or another. You may not get it from that immediate person, right, but you would get it back to some extent and to some capacity. Yeah, that be what be happening. And even, oh, no, because I heard something about breaking up homes and stuff like that. One of the things that kind of happens with the whole breaking up of a home, if you have a real child that is inclined, right? Inclined or just really spiteful, and, or if you were that way as a child to where you wouldn't have necessarily been intimate with the other person, but you definitely caused problems because you as a child had difficulty with dealing with change. That would be what that would be about. As a child, being having difficulty with dealing in and with change. So acting out, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So in the Saturn aspect, is the karma would be Saturn in Cancer in the sixth house. That's the house of Virgo. Check your sixth house placements. Part one. Part two. Yeah, because that's going to tell you about the health and well being. In the business aspect, if you partner with the right person in your household, it typically runs its damn self. Pretty much the same way in business. If you partner with the right person in business, it'll run itself. You don't have to worry about all of the extra. Yeah, that's for the whole control freak aspect. And what you can control is picking the right person and knowing that knowing that both of you have similar mentalities. So you know certain things will get done. Okay? So be realistic about intuition to protect service to others. Be realistic about the intuition to protect service to others. All right. You get an angel message for that. Your heart chakra. And if you do things by your heart or according to what's in your heart, and you have congestive heart failure as a family situation. Congestive heart failure, pulmonary disease, heart disease, all of those different things, or high cholesterol. I heard high cholesterol a lot. So paying attention to that. The answer that you seek is in your heart right now. Be open to giving and receiving love, and make sure you shield yourself. Protect yourself from harsh or fear based essences by envisioning a cocoon of healing light surrounding you. Now, the mental aspect, right? Because we're in this Virgo Pisces essence, I'm going to use the wisdom cards for it. Be concerned about attitudes from the past about what is good for us. If you're not in the process of using the word us in a relationship, whether it be a friendship, whether it be, building friendships, being a friend, or even in business, or even in romantic relationships, if you're not using the us portion, right, then this part might not be for you. Okay? But if you're in that us portion, meaning teamwork make the dream work. I heard teamwork, I'm hearing it, right? Teamwork make the dream work. However, that's only if you have the same dreams. If you have the same dreams, if you have the same goals, if you have the same aspirations. That's only when you have the same dreams and if you're both on the same level of goal setting and goal seeking. One person's delusion is another person's reality. Does that help? I hope it helps. That's her damn good. Thank you. Thank you kindly. That's that 33 coming through. Let me stop. Anyway, this the swan transformation, right? So transformation, trusting one's psychic gifts. 12. If you trust the psychic nature of an individual, this is about the whole spiritual aspect with heart chakra and attitudes from the past and intuition, right? When it comes to one's intuition, that's definitely not something to be questioned, right? But the stag, pride and leadership, and love. So the pride that comes into place with being in love. Yeah, when you the Cancerian aspect, what unfortunately, right, got gets put out a lot is love will make you do some crazy things. If there is spell work involved, of course it's going to make you do some crazy things. You know why? Because you didn't do a love spell, you did an obsession spell, and you tried to tie and bind yourself to someone. So yeah, that will definitely be that could definitely certainly be an issue to it there for you. Now on the other portion, you'll get the whole Al Green aspect of love and happiness. And that's more of the Piscean aspect of, love will make you do right, but love will actually can make you do wrong as well, right? Now, depending on what morals, values, and class system you're a part of, will determine what constitutes as right and wrong, right? Now, because in the United States aspect, if you live in the United States and you see that there's poverty and you have more than enough, not only for your generation, but other generations, yeah, it's wrong for you to make people suffer and say, well, I got it this way, so you can get it this way too. Because that means that in the classist aspect, Classist, right? Aspect, you are not acknowledging that certain privileges come into place with being in certain spaces and how certain people wouldn't be allowed in certain spaces. I heard without a ticket. It would not only without a ticket, but they wouldn't be allowed in certain spaces without the proper acknowledgement and the proper communications. In short, one of the things it was that I have been hearing is, yeah, how a person would be like at one point, go see this person or go see that person in the telepathic communication. Well, just because I have telepathic communication, that doesn't mean that the other person has telepathic communication. Part one. Part two, if you would have, with telepathic communication, it's such a tricky deal, y'all. It really is. And people don't really understand that with telepathy, yeah, it's a whole lot more to it than, oh, I can read this person's thoughts. And it's so much more to it than that, right? Telepathic communication in today's time has been reduced to social media influence. Okay, a person didn't feel like they telepathic, or it's been the falsification that comes into place with telepathy in today's time is reading a social media post and being like, oh, I know what that. Yeah, it's one of those. I know what you talking about. I know what you thinking about, or whatever, what have you. And the whole, yeah, the reality of everything ain't about a person. Now, here's the other portion that comes into place with it. This transformation, rebirth, death being a burden, which will shift things. Transformation, rebirth, death, uh, the light at the end of the tunnel, right? Being the, not only it being a burden, but it being the crossover. What happens when, uh, in this last portion, right? You must wait before you can, resulting from the history of your work. You can, and the work being crossing over. And with Saturn being in Scorpio, yeah, how the burden that'll come into place with it. Because depending on which aspect and axis, right, and which vibration of Scorpio or Pluto you're in. And yeah, Saturn must be doing something with Pluto too. It has to be. One, not manifesting, not being a magician, but possibly a mage or wizard. Wednesday, anything else? Yeah, one I having to manifest is wizardry. No, because it's giving that whole Disney Channel, the wizarding world of whoever that is. Yeah, it must have been an episode or something. And even in death's projection and protection. Mm-mm. Within Wednesday, one not shifting their thoughts, not manifesting, one is shifting the thought, changing their mind. The steps of love, a love cycle. Okay, Knight of Swords, right? Reverse. One not coming in with clarity is one of them. The other portion of it would be not being a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, and the incoming telepathic thoughts that comes into place with one being having inspired action and not being rejected, and the inspired action in April. Yeah, because this fell in regards to what the recognizing the transformation of burden that would have come within one not rejecting the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Inspiration. That's one of them. The other portion of it is gonna be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, teenagers. Who else? Gemini, Libra. Not no. This is about the Aries axis and what it is to be a hero versus to be a villain, and to recognize one's heroine or heroism, right? In protecting the land that they would govern, protecting the staff, protecting all of those different individuals, right? And the contrast that would have come, I want it, the contrast that would have come within raiding the tombs, raiding the tombs, the yeah, because it's three pyramids on this card. Tomb raider, and what it is to be a tomb raider. Oh, this is giving it somebody would have stole some shit from the Egyptians. Yeah, telepathy and teleportation. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but here's the irony that comes into place with it. Those, those, yeah, the pyramids of Giza. I'm gonna say what it is. Those pyramids, realistically, you'll find clusters of pyramids like that all throughout the world. And if you ever pay attention to like Stonehenge, like it's said, right, in the lore that, if you measure it where the Stonehenge heads are, and then it's directly across the world in where the feet are. So it's like a giant realistically laying down. And what it is to be a sleeping giant. Okay? So hopefully that helps you guys out just a little bit, gave you a tad bit of an inclination as to a few different things it is that will be going on. If you like to schedule your own personal touch of clarity, you are more than welcome to do so at Lightwork and Lightwork LLC. Like, share, and subscribe, right? Like, share, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Make sure you guys are protecting yourself, though, and in regards to, having the different transformations that you have, okay? Because see, remember, like work, it ain't like work. It is not like work. It's not like work. All right. And that's why you have to stay light while you work.